folks, Sophia here, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a dice in Scratch. If you're creating a board game or something like that in Scratch, you're definitely going to need dice. It's actually a very simple thing, and I'm going to show you how to make it today. First of all, create a new sprite and name it dice. Now create costumes for each number. You can design the dice in any way, just make sure that the number shows. Also, make sure that they're in the right order of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now let's get to the code. We're going to have 2 dice. The second one will be a clone of the first die. To get started, add the when green flag clicked block. Everything under this block will get executed when the green flag is clicked. Now let's specify the position of our first die on the stage. Use this block and set the Y position to 0 and the X position to -50. Now use the show block to make sure that it appears on the stage. The second die is going to be a clone of the first die, so use the create clone of myself block. In our program, the dice needs to roll when the space key is pressed, so use the wait until block and drag the key space pressed boolean into it. Now go to the My Block section and create a block called roll. Drag that block below the wait until key space pressed block. And that's it for that chunk of code. Now let's start a new piece of code with the when I start as a clone block. It's pretty much the same as the when green flag click block, but the difference is being that the X position is 50 and there's no create clone of myself block. Now let's start the last but also the biggest chunk of code in the project with the define roll block. But before we continue with the code, we're going to have to create 6 new costumes for when the dice is finished rolling. These 6 costumes should be almost just like the normal dice costumes that we made at the beginning, but with a slight difference like a different background color. And by the way, the first 6 costumes that we made at the beginning should be named according to the number shown on them. And these costumes that we just made should also be named according to the number on them, but the word roll should also be written after it. Like for example, 1 roll, 2 roll, 3 roll, etc. Anyway, let's return to the code. Now make a block like this. I use that kind of code because when the project is complete, it will work like when the space key is pressed, the dice will cycle through random costumes a few times and then come to rest at a final random costume. And that costume will be one that has a yellow background, but when we press space again and it needs to roll again, it has to switch to a costume which has a white background. And if you understand that the costumes with the yellow background have names that have the word roll after the number shown on the costume, but the costumes with the white background only have the number shown on the costume as their name. So to get the corresponding white background costume for a yellow background costume, we just need to find the first letter of that costume name. Now here's the code that switches through random costumes. Because it's a 2D dice, to show the dice spinning, we just switch through costumes a few times and then come to rest at a random costume. At this point, you should go to your Costumes tab and make sure that your costumes are in the order of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1 roll, 2 roll, 3 roll, 5 roll, and 6 roll. And now to show that the number is the final result, here's the code that switches the costume to a costume with a yellow background. And now we just add this bit to make it a loop and we're done. Thank you so much for watching this video. It was a really simple thing, but I still hope it helped you. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like and subscribe. Bye!